Entrepreneurship isn't about products. It's not even about profits. It's about people are at the center of everything. Your employees, your contractors, and your customers. If you don't know how to meet people where they are, you will struggle. Let me tell you a quick story from the early days of working on ships. I had a bosun bosun is call him the highest ranking unlicensed sailor on the ship. Basically the head of the deckhands, right? And then I had an OS, or an ordinary seaman. He was a junior. He was one of the junior members of the crew. Now, both of these men were well into their 60s. I think the bosun may actually have been over 70 at the time. And one day, there was a dispute over a mop bucket. Yes, that's right, over a mop bucket. The OS was ready to go to blows over it. He was so furious. But was it really about the mop bucket? No, it was about respect. The ordinary sailor felt invisible, like his work, his time, and his dignity didn't matter. The mop was just the surface. The real issue was human, emotional, and personal. Humans are social creatures, hardwired for respect, recognition, and acceptance. Sure, there are exceptions, but in general, we're looking for two things: meaningful work and meaningful relationships. When people don't feel seen, well, they don't just disconnect. They actually can start fighting. One simple way to better understand people is through the DISC model, D-I-S-C. It's a personality framework that breaks down how people typically operate. D is dominance. They are direct, they're decisive, they love challenges. I myself happen to be mostly a D. I is for influential. These are social, they're persuasive. My wife tends to be more I. There's S stands for steadiness or steadfast. They are dependable. They're the supportive. They value security and peace. C is for conscientious. They are the analytical, the detailed oriented, the driven by quality and accuracy. They want things done the right way at the first time. Now, these are broad categories for personalities, right? But it's important because each of them has to be spoken to in a way which resonates with them. If a D tries to talk to an S in a way that a D typically talks to, the S is going to feel like they're getting beaten down. They're not going to feel like their work is meaningful, even though the D may be trying to encourage them. But the way a D needs encouragement is so different than an S, right? Same with an I or a C. The way they need to be spoken to in order to feel safe and create connection is very different. So knowing someone's natural style helps you communicate in a way that resonates with them. Not just with what you say, but how they can best hear it. In business, inside your company, and outside of it, you have to meet people where they are, not where you wish they were. If you can't meet someone where they're at, emotionally, practically, even spiritually, you're going to have a hard time leading your team. An even harder time connecting with your customers. If you want to get better at this, here are a few books that had a huge impact on me. First, classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Master the timeless art of building trust and rapport by genuinely caring about others. Next was Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Understand how setting the stage before you communicate shapes the way people respond. Third, Influence, again by Robert Cialdini. Learning the psychological triggers that lead people to say yes and how to use them ethically. 4, Unreasonable Hospitality. Discover how going above and beyond in service transform businesses and relationships. And then last, Power versus Force. This one was an interesting one. It explores how true leadership and influence come from inner strength and not control. Never forget, behind every transaction, every team, every sale, there's a human being. Honor that, and you'll build something that actually lasts. If this message resonated with you, follow me here on YouTube or even over on Instagram for more real-world stories and lessons like this. Appreciate you.